Last week, I got my hands on the new Natasha Denona Hy-Glam Foundation. I filmed a first impression and I've had one of my most positive first impressions and thoughts on a new foundation launch in a very long time. So I've decided to do a full long-form video on it, answer some of the unanswered questions that I've seen in my comments section, and hopefully give you guys some comparisons and show you exactly what I did when I applied this foundation. Just as a refresher, or in case any of you guys are new here, I do have dry skin, so keep that in mind. I'm reviewing this product as somebody with fairly dry skin. I also really like a variety of different coverages when it comes to foundation and finishes. I can kind of get away with light coverage sometimes. I love a full glam coverage sometimes, and I really kind of look to see if a foundation is going to break me out. That's something that will turn me off from using a product forever. Obviously, nobody wants a foundation to break them out, so I do look for that when testing a complexion product. I also like to make sure it plays well with my other makeup products that I apply over top. If you haven't watched my first impression on this foundation, I definitely recommend checking that out first. I did post a condensed version for YouTube Shorts over here if you guys want to check it out. Really quickly, let's go over some of the details about this foundation. It is a $52 foundation. It's available in 52 shades. The shade range does look pretty impressive. There's a lot of different undertones. This has a glass bottle. It's a nice frosted glass. It feels kind of heavy. It is 1 ounce of product in here. That is standard for liquid foundation. It does have a pump, which is really nice, and it does seem to have like a soft closure type of cap, which makes it feel luxurious. I purchased mine from Ulta, and I did purchase the shade N3. I believe that Natasha Denona did create these shades to correlate with your concealer, so if you have a perfect match in the Hy-Glam concealer, then that color should match you in the foundation. Now, looking at the claims, it's a medium buildable blurring self-setting radiant serum foundation that hydrates and balances oils for up to 18 hours of creaseless wear. I have said that so many times now, and it is a mouthful. There are a lot of claims when it comes to this foundation. It also says that it reduces skin imperfections such as scars, it brightens hyperpigmentation, it's suitable for sensitive skin, hypoallergenic, non-comedogenic, and long-lasting. So many more claims on the Ulta website, at least. Now, my first impression was phenomenal, and I do recommend you test this out if you're interested. So if you guys do want to purchase this foundation, especially if I influence you at all by the end of this video, I will have the links in this video. I will also have them down below. I do recommend shopping from Ulta or Sephora if you want to exchange your shade or be able to return the product if it doesn't work for you, but you can save 10% if you do buy directly from Natasha Denona with code Kendall. That is an affiliate code. I know I'm talking a lot, you guys, but without further ado, I'm going to show you exactly what I did for my skin prep on the day that I did my first impression with this foundation, and then after we apply my makeup today, I want to compare this to the Haus Labs foundation, as well as a couple behind me that are good shade matches for me, just in case you guys are wondering about color comparisons. I also have the concealer in N3 as well that I want to swatch side by side with this foundation. Skin prep and the way that you set your makeup is going to impact the longevity of your makeup. So I did not film a wear test because the way that people prep and set is going to be different across the board. So I'm just sharing with you how I prep and set. In case you want to replicate with your own products, then maybe we'll have the same experience. You know what I mean? So I'm going in with the Ilia Base Face Milk. It is a toner, a milky toner. I'm just going to tap it in all over my face. In my opinion, you can kind of do whatever for skin prep as long as you give your skincare, your SPF, your whatever products you have down the proper time before you go in with foundation. I think that's a problem for a lot of people. They go in with their foundation way too soon after their skincare. So if you ever have problems with any of your foundations separating or pilling or anything like that, try to give your skincare a few more minutes to absorb into your skin. I think that this is the moisturizer that I used the first time I used this foundation. It is the POV Beauty Whip It Hydrating Whipped Cream. This moisturizer definitely gives my face a little bit of a glow. If you have dry skin, you know that you need to moisturize it before you try a new foundation. I really miss getting on camera and filming long form videos, you guys. I've been suffering with health issues for quite some time now. I also broke my old camera and I just now replaced it, so hopefully we get back on track here. Now this is where I do things a little differently than some people. I love a gripping primer, so I am going to go in with my favorite gripping primer, which is the e.l.f. Jelly Pop. I also apply my gripping primer with a brush, which is a little bit non-traditional. I'm going in with the Sigma Beauty F80 Air with a pretty generous amount of gripping primer, and I brush this on to distribute it, and then I really buff it into the skin. Like, I am not gentle with this really at all. For me, I think this step in my skin prep routine makes almost anything I put down last a lot longer. Some people really have a hard time with gripping primer. I just feel like, I don't know, it's so foolproof for me. It just works every single time. I've already been buffing this for a minute, but I'm going in and just stamping over the whole thing. And then I'm gonna wait for about 2 minutes before I apply the foundation. I zoomed you guys in a little bit. I really want you to be able to see the coverage of this foundation. I'm gonna go in and pump one pump onto the back of my hand. I may have got this brush wrong when I was commenting back to people. I thought it was a different one. This is the BK Beauty 115. I think I thought it was the 109. Either way, they're both really great foundation brushes. I'm gonna pick this up with the foundation brush and we're gonna check out this coverage. I do have a couple little blemishes in this area, and of course a little bit of redness and freckles and veins, so let's see how it does. Also, it's a little warm in here, so I am kind of starting to sweat, so that'll be an interesting little twist on this review. The application is really insane. I said that in my first impression, but I stand by that. It's really incredible. The coverage is beautiful. I think it's a true medium to buildable coverage. It covers everything, but it leaves that gorgeous finish. It is luminous, it's skin-like, it just looks like my skin but better. Honestly, it just really blows me away. It doesn't even look real. The difference between the sides of my face is wild. I do think this is a good shade match for me. I think I could probably get away with a lighter shade too, but right now N3 is working for me. Here's the side with no foundation and the foundation. Just so you know, next on my agenda, I do want to film this side by side with the Haus Labs foundation because that seems to be a very popular comparison that people want to see, but I will be comparing the formulas on my hands today in this video. And let's even this out. I just realized I forgot to do my eyebrows today. I'll have to do them later. I really love the application with a brush so much that I don't think I even have a curiosity of how this would apply with a sponge. Now this foundation does claim to be self-setting, and I do think it kind of sets itself down in a sense that it's not gonna move anywhere. It doesn't feel like it's gonna move, but it is kind of a little bit too glowy for my liking to just continue wearing it like this. So I'm gonna finish my whole face of makeup with you guys. If you want to skip ahead to where I start talking more about other foundations and things, then I will leave a timestamp. But I do want to finish my makeup with you because I want you to see how makeup applies over this foundation. I'd like to show you guys the back of my hand that I used to pick up the foundation so you can see the finish with absolutely no primer or moisturizer down on the skin. You guys are gonna have to bear with me a little bit for the rest of this video. I do have my air conditioner on in the background, so it might be a little bit noisier. I'm just starting to get too hot. I want to show you guys the NATASHA Denona Hy-Glam Concealer in the shade N3 compared to the foundation in N3. So first comparison of the video. So right here is the concealer in N3 and this is the foundation. It actually looks slightly warmer in the concealer. Also keep in mind my concealer has been sitting in my drawer for a very long time and we'll get into why. I think most people were excited for this foundation launch because of how much this concealer is loved, but unfortunately I had a different experience when I first tried the Hy-Glam concealer. It's one of those concealers that stings my under eyes, so unfortunately the concealer is not one of my favorite products. I have concealers I would much rather reach for. With everything being said about the concealer, next time I try this foundation I will be using it with my favorite concealer, which is the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Concealer. Moving on, I'm going to do a little cream contouring. This is what I used in my first impression. It is the new Micro Contour from Morphe, and mine is in the shade Tapered. It is a very cool tone contour, and I feel like it really just resembles the natural shadows that I have on my face. I don't really try too hard with it. I'm just kind of lazily applying it and will lazily blend it too. This is so easy to blend out. It just happens in seconds. But it is something I like to note when trying a new foundation, whether or not creams will kind of drag along the surface or if the foundation will move, and at least for me, with everything I did to prep, it's not moving at all. I've really been loving contouring with a more cool tone product. I don't really need to contour my forehead, but I kind of do it for color balancing purposes. I'm going to go ahead and use the same blush that I used in my first impression too. This is from Statue Beauty. It is their Cheek Stain in the shade I'm Cute. It's just a really pretty kind of neutral bubblegummy pink color, and I feel like I kind of need a lot because this does kind of blend away. Trust the process because I know it looks kind of clownish at first, but it's very, very sheer. I'm going to take that color and just go over my nose a little bit with it. Now, like I said in my first impression, I chose to set my face even though I don't think you have to because it's just a little too glowy for my liking. So I'm going to go in with my Kosas powder. This is the loose powder in the shade Translucent Candy, and I'm going to pick up a little bit and tap off all of the excess. I'm going to start by going underneath the eye. I kind of avoid the upper cheek. I go around onto the lip and the chin and lightly over the contour area, and then excess on the forehead. So here's what it looks like, this side of my face that is lightly set with powder, opposed to the non-set side, which is very glowy. And I think it's important to note that normally I'm not a big fan of silicone foundations or silicone-based foundations. I don't know if you can call this silicone based because the first ingredient is water, but there is a lot of ingredients that end with cone, which is a silicone, so dimethicone, things like that. But it just performs like a lot of my favorite foundations, so I'm very happy with this. When I think silicone, I think uncomfortable, I think slippy, almost like not greasy, but just, you know, silicone-y. And it doesn't feel like that at all. It feels very secure. It feels almost balmy when you spread it onto your skin. It feels like a skincare product. I turned the air off because it's pissing me off how loud it is, but we're gonna finish up the powders. I finished up with my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Palette. This is the Swan packaging, but it's the Color Story 1, so it's the lightest color story that they had available this year. And I'm so lazy with this, you guys. I'm gonna use the same brush. I'm gonna dip into multiple colors in here. I'm gonna start off with the finishing powders. These two first colors, mixing them together, and I'm just gonna go lightly underneath my eye and up the cheekbone. Same thing over here. I think it just adds slight luminosity. Then I'm going into the bronzer, and I'm really digging in here because it's such a light bronzer. It doesn't have a lot of pigment. And I'm gonna go over my natural shadow with this powder bronzer. You're barely gonna see anything, but I feel like it does help to set in that nice cool tone. I can see it on the brush, so I know it's there. I know it's doing something, but it's such a perfect shade match that it really is barely noticeable. I'm having like chest pain in the right side of my chest right now. It feels like I have a bubble in my lung, but I'm going to just go over the sides of my nose. Then I took both of these blushes, the peachy one and the pink one, mixing them together, kind of more pink than peach, and I'm gonna go over the blush area. It's a very minimal palette. I think if I went with the medium one, it would have more pigment on my skin tone, but I actually really like this for everyday wear. Then I took the tip of the brush that doesn't really have product on it, and I picked up the highlighter, and I'm going over where my cheek would naturally glow. The highlighter definitely does something. I think it all does. I think it's just hard to see on camera. If you're looking into these, I'm really happy with my custom palette this year. Let's do a lip combo. I'm gonna go in with the new Morphe lip liner in the shade Wifey. This camera, this brand new camera, just overheated. That has never happened with my old one. I don't know if it's because I'm filming in a higher quality, but that's really upsetting. I am going in with the MAC Viva Planet lipstick. I've been loving this. Let's talk about the final setting situation that is setting spray. And this, honestly, this setting spray combination is going to lock everything in. This is why I don't film wear tests very often. When I do, I almost feel a little bit biased because my setting routine is so crazy that if it's a good product, it's not going anywhere. First up, we're gonna hit it with Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. And then of course, if you wear makeup and you want it to last and you haven't tried this yet, you need to. It's the Until Dawn setting spray from One Size. This will cement pretty much anything in place for a very, very, very long time. And this guy makes things transfer proof. So if you're going to be touching your face, if you think you're going to have like clothing going over your head, whatever that you're worried about, this will help with transfer. Here's the thing, you guys. Like I said, I think prep and set makes a huge difference on longevity of a product. I'm going to be playing with this foundation for probably the remainder of September and into October. If it does not break me out, this is going to be my new favorite foundation. This is only the second time I've applied it, so I can't tell you if it's going to break me out yet, but so far it's looking pretty good. I think the first time I wore it, I had it on probably for 6 to 8 hours. It wasn't really long enough to tell you guys if the claims are accurate, especially because of my prep and set. It's very hard to say unless I were to wear this on its own, which I really wouldn't normally do. But I can tell you that with the prep and set, this is going to last me as long as I need it to last me, which I think makes it a really nice special occasions foundation if you are looking for one. The finish is stunning. My skin looks like skin, but it looks luminous. It has life in it. It's comfortable. It doesn't feel like I'm wearing a mask. It looks like airbrushed. Let me finish the under eye area. I need to add some eyeshadow and mascara, and then let's get into some comparisons. I have a little plate. I want to put my Natasha Denona on the plate. Trying not to blind you guys with my ring light. So here is N3. So in Haus Labs, I have the shade 100 to show you guys. Again, I think I got this wrong when I was commenting back to people. I thought I was shade 110, but this is shade 100 light neutral. This is 100 from Haus Labs, and this is N3. It definitely looks a little different. Natasha Denona looks like it has a better neutral undertone. The Haus Labs actually looks like it's a little bit more yellow. Here is Natasha Denona next to Haus Labs in the shade 100. Haus Labs feels a little bit thinner. Natasha Denona feels a little bit more skincare-like and has a more neutral undertone with the shade N3 than shade 100 has with Haus Labs. I do think the formula and coverages are quite similar, but I think I do have a correlation with breakouts when I use Haus Labs, unfortunately. So we have Armani Luminous Silk. This is in the shade 2, which I think is going to be a little bit lighter than these guys. Armani Luminous Silk is also one of those foundations that I would consider to be a special occasion foundation. So that is shade 2 in Armani below the N3. Here is the Natasha Denona in N3 compared to Armani Luminous Silk in 4.75. I did pull this out of my collection. It's a little darker than the shade 2 that I had, but these are both special occasion foundations to me. Some of my favorite formulas that I have ever tried. Both of them look natural, beautiful, skin-like, luminous, and I would recommend either one of these foundations if you were looking for a special occasion, beautiful on camera, beautiful on the skin, mixes well with other products type foundation. This is going to be super light too. This is Makeup by Mario in the Surreal Skin Original Luminous foundation. This is 2N. So that is 2N. That's definitely more neutral than the Armani in the shade 2. It is lighter than the Natasha Denona. It's weird, but I talked about it before. I struggle with color matching, and all of these do work for me. I already wiped off all my swatches, but I wanted to do one more side-by-side comparison, so we'll use the back of my hand for this one. This is the Patrick Ta foundation that I unfortunately do not use because when I used it, it gave me really bad cystic acne. But when I tried this Natasha Denona foundation, it reminded me of this Patrick Ta. So I do want to compare it. So far, anyway, it's looking like the Natasha Denona is giving me that same finish that I loved with the Patrick Ta, but it's not breaking me out. So it's kind of a win. So this is Natasha Denona on the bottom, and on the top is Patrick Ta in the shade 6. They feel so similar. I think the Patrick Ta feels slightly stickier. Here is Natasha Denona side by side with Patrick Ta. I think the most similar formula in my collection. Alright guys, I confirmed we are overheating because I'm filming in 4K. So here we have NATASHA DENONA. I want to put Haus Labs below it and kind of talk about the formula. Again, Haus Labs is in the shade 100. I do find these to feel very similar, especially upon application. I feel like the Haus Labs is a little less neutral. I think the NATASHA DENONA really knocked out the neutral shade for me. The coverage is very similar. The texture is even very similar. Coming from the perspective of someone with dry skin, I do think NATASHA DENONA does feel a little bit more hydrating than the Haus Labs, but overall I think they're both beautiful foundations. I'm just hoping that my skin kind of agrees with the formula of this one a little bit more, because I do think I have found a new favorite foundation. Do I feel like you need to jump on the hype and get it right away? No, not necessarily. You could wait for a sale or wait until you finish up some of your favorites, but I definitely would add this to the list to try because it is really good so far. I do think I'm going to try to film a wear test today with this foundation, even though you know how I feel about the prep and the set. I think that does impact things a lot, but I'm going to do that in short form, so I will link it to this video once I have it posted, and hopefully that will be helpful for those of you who want to know about the longevity, but I do think it's going to be a very long-lasting foundation. Now, am I one of those people who wears my foundation for 18 hours? No, I'm not. I know there's a lot of you guys out there working some long-ass shifts and you want your makeup to last, so I think it's important to know that a product can last as long as you need it to. I do feel a little bit scattered because of everything that's going on with my camera and the fact that I haven't eaten any food yet today, so I think I could have been a little bit more thorough with this review, but with that being said, I hope that you found some helpful insight from this video, and if you do have any specific questions, I am more than happy to answer them if I can in the comments, so feel free to ask. So thanks for hanging out with me and watching me rant about a foundation product, you guys. I love a good base product when it comes to makeup, and I will leave everything I used down in the description if you want to check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching, for trusting my opinions and coming back for my reviews. I appreciate you guys so much, and hopefully I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye guys.